Idrisu Mustafa, and this afternoon I'm here with
Kweku Ediamansa.
Coming up, Ghana's Food and Drugs Authority approves malaria vaccine described by scientists as the game changer in dealing with numerous deaths associated with the disease. Meanwhile, the FDA in the Ashanti region has confiscated unregistered herbal and orthodox medicine in 100,000 cities during a swoop at Alaba in Kumasi.
These products will never be registered by the Food and Drugs Authority. It's a combination of locally produced products and imported ones. And how they get into the country, nobody can tell.
Also coming up, National Youth Organizer of the governing NPP expected at the police CID to be interrogated following a petition by the NDC after he was seen wearing a military camouflage during a radio interview in Wa last month. Still ahead, we'll take you to the Eastern region where former president and NDC flag bearer hopeful John Mahama has chided the governing party for abandoning the Abetifi Government Hospital, which was started under his government.
Enye Jomama bottom sika ena na medisi eye oman sika enti entwasum kra se yebeja japadesa amana sei.
And later we'll tell you how children of the King Jesus Charity Home at Buedi in the Ashanti region benefited from a 20,000 cedis cash from the Citi Foundation as part of its annual Easter Orphan project.
It's a lot of things, and we are very, very happy for that. It's going to help us. So as the Citi TV and FM are doing, you are doing a very good job.
All that and more on Citi Prime News, which is also live on all our affiliates across the country. In the Western region, we are live on Premier FM 100.5 in Takoradi, Beach FM 105.5 also in Takoradi, Bono region Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani, Ashanti region Orange FM 107.9 in Kumasi. Volta region, we are live on Global FM 105.1 in Ho, Adanu FM 107.7 in Adakluwaya, Northern region Diamond FM 93.7 in Tamale, Upper West Westlink 88.1 in Laura, Upper East we are live on Source FM 100.1 in Boko, and Northeast region we are live on Scarp FM 101.3 in Nakpanduri.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Grateful for choosing us. Now, Ghana has become the first country in the world to approve a new malaria vaccine developed by the University of Oxford. The effort is one of several focused on addressing the disease that kills over 600,000 each year, most of them children in Africa. The complicated structure and life cycle of the malaria parasite has long thwarted efforts to develop vaccines, but the vaccine called Al-21 appears to be hugely effective in stark contrast to previous vaccines in the same field. Ghana's drug regulators have assessed the final trial data on the vaccine's safety and effectiveness, which is not yet public, and have decided to use it. The World Health Organization is also considering approving the vaccine. It has been a massive century-long scientific undertaking to develop a vaccine that protects the body from the malaria parasite. Professor Adrian Hill is director of the Jenner Institute of the Oxford University, where the vaccine was invented.
This is a vaccine that's been in development for some years now. It's designed particularly to be effective in young African children, where most malaria deaths occur in that age group. And it's again a partnership between the University of Oxford and the Serum Institute of India.
Professor Adrian Hill is director of the Jenner Institute at Oxford University, developers of the new malaria vaccine Al-21.
Now, officials of the Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, have confiscated unregistered herbal and orthodox medicinal products totaling 700,000 Ghana cedis during a swoop at Alaba in Kumasi. A 35-year-old female trader who is the owner of the seized items is currently in police custody. The authority has intensified its market surveillance exercise and says it is on high alert to clamp down on illegal drugs, which include body enhancement products at retail markets in the Ashanti region. The FDA officials and police seized the items from a single retail shop after the soup. The Ashanti regional head of the Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, John Lai Odai Tete, expressed concern about the influx of unregistered and unwholesome medicinal products in the markets.
These products will never be registered by the Food and Drugs Authority. It's a combination of locally produced products and imported ones. And how they get into the country, nobody can tell. But when you beat the entry points, we have approved entry points, and we have FDA officers at all the approved entry points. However, the porosity of our borders allow some of these things to come through unapproved and unmanned entry points. And those ones, because of our market surveillance activities, we are able to get them out of the market. So if you beat the immigration, we'll get you at the spots. The previous one we had, 3 of them are with the police and we are processing them for courts. The law also allows the authority to charge administratively. So it depends on what management discusses and decides on. The advice to consumers is that we have always said it, and I'm saying it again, get properly diagnosed, visit the hospital, and get a prescription. You are not supposed to buy medicines like you buy toffees. No, medicines are sold at designated places, and we expect that pharmacies, over-the-counter medicine shops that are licensed and licensed herbal medicinal product shops are available, and you need to move in there with your prescription, if any. If you don't have it, still go to those designated places. You cannot buy medicines whilst it's being hawked because you don't know the state.
John Lai Odai Tete is the Ashanti regional head of the Food and Drugs Authority, FDA.
Now, still with the FDA, the authority has advised the public to only buy packaged and bottled water registered by the authority. The authority reminded the public to check the registration status of packaged or bottled drinking water and all other regulated products before purchase. The caution follows a video posted on social media by an unknown person which suggested that some brands of bottled water have pH values which are out of the allowable pH range and therefore impure and not suitable for drinking. Here are excerpts of a statement from the Food and Drugs Authority read by Citi News' Kweku Ijiama Ansa.
The Food and Drugs Authority wishes to reiterate that the allowable pH levels of drinking water, according to the Ghana Standards Authority and the World Health Organization, should be between 6.5 and 8.5. In other words, packaged and bottled water with a pH within this range and registered by the authority are suitable for drinking. For regulatory decisions, the pH, which is a specification in the standard for drinking water, is scientifically measured using a calibrated pH meter. Unscientific and crude methods using unreferenced scales such as the one deployed in the video lack precision and therefore cannot inform any regulatory decisions. It is worthy of note that the gentleman in the said video failed to boldly show his face, albeit the FDA is working with the security agencies to apprehend and institute criminal proceedings against him.
Those were excerpts of a statement by the Food and Drugs Authority read by Citi News' Kweku Ijiama Ansa.
Let's turn attention to some other stories, and the Defense Minister, Dominic Nitiwul, has expressed concern about the situation where personnel of the Ghana Armed Forces live outside the barracks and report to work. He says government will work to ensure adequate accommodation is provided for the officers to stay within their designated barracks. Adequate housing has over the years been a major challenge for security personnel in the country owing to the increasing number of recruits. At the commissioning of a 2-bedroom 4-story block of 16 flats for officers at the 6th Infantry Battalion in Tamale, the minister said government acknowledges the current accommodation deficit and is working to address it.
It is the vision of government that all personnel, the Ghana Armed Forces, will be accommodated in the barracks as required for a unique institution like the Ghana Armed Forces. We cannot accept soldiers staying in town. They must all stay in the barracks. And so government and subsequent governments would prioritize the accommodation of soldiers to ensure that our soldiers live comfortably after they have done a hard day's job for us to have peace. Ghana is one of the few countries in West Africa, and in fact in Africa, that when you walk in the night, you are not afraid that somebody is looking at your back. It is one of the countries where people across the world, from Nigerians to the people in the United States to Britain, everybody come to party throughout the whole night. Some even party till the following day, 1 a.m., and they boast about it. It is the work that you and the other security agencies do. On behalf of the people of Ghana, I thank you, and may God bless you all.
Dominic Nitu is the defense minister.
Now, a security analyst, Emmanuel Coutin, wants the Inter-Party Advisory Committee of the Electoral Commission to propose a ban or suspension of politicians who make insightful comments in their campaigns from contesting elections. This follows recent comment by Abetifi MP Brian Echampon, which appears to be mounting political tension in the country. Speaking to Citi News, Emmanuel Coutin says there must be punitive measures against such political entities to help safeguard the peace and stability of Ghana.
Comments of this nature doesn't augur well, especially given the times we find ourselves. We want to attract investment into the country. We are the IMF seeking for bailout and stuff like that. When these things happen, we are quick to condemn. I think it's about time we look beyond the condemnation. So I was thinking that the best avenue to use is the Peace Council through the Electoral Commission. And you know the Electoral Commission has a body called the IPAC, where all these major political parties are stakeholders. Unfortunately, NDC has pulled out of IPAC. So I would urge the NDC for the sake of peace in this country and the elections ahead of us. Whatever challenges they have with the Electoral Commission is all about dialogue, so that when they come back, the rules of engagement will be set such that any political party, when I say political party, any politician from any of the political parties make insidious comments of this nature, punitive measures such as banning from contesting elections, suspension from the political party can be applied. I think if we don't go this way, and the way the political environment is already charged, events will definitely cast its own shadow.
You had security analyst Emmanuel Coutin. Let's now take you to the police CID, where the national youth organizer of the governing party, Salam Mustafa, is expected to appear before it to be interrogated following a petition by the NDC. My colleague Hansen Ajiman is at the police CID and joins us live via telephone. Good afternoon to you, Hansen. Thanks for your time. Has Salam appeared before the CID yet?
He's yet to go to the CID. As we know, he was invited by the Tamale police, but because of certain circumstances, he couldn't honor that invitation. And as a result, he agreed to appear before them by 12 noon today. But as we speak now, Salam Mustafa is yet to get to the CID headquarters. However, our sources close to him said he's preparing to make himself available to the police. Now, what we've also observed is that he and some members of the youth wing of the NPP are marching up at Afritico, where they will march to the CID head office. And we spotted about some 2 buses of young men who have been passed to Afritico to support Salam as he makes the move to the CID head office to be interrogated.
Hansen, why is this drawing this attention? Obviously, the police invited him because of a petition by the NDC that he was wearing a military uniform in one of his radio appearances at a radio station. So why are the youth of the youth wing of the the NPP, massing up in what exactly do they want?
They think that the invitation in itself is unnecessary they think that the police have allowed themselves to be pushed by the pressures of the NDC to invite their national youth organizer. It is their contention that Salam Mustafa has done nothing wrong and therefore do not merit this form of invitation. You remember just weeks ago, officials of the NDC in the Ashanti region were equally invited by the police for allegedly wearing military uniforms. And the point they are making is that this petition by the NDC supposedly is just the reaction to the police invitation and subsequent interrogation of NPC executives in the Ashanti region. And they are using this to make a point to the police that if indeed their youth organizer has done something wrong, he should be invited. But he should not be invited only because the NDC executives are being interrogated. Now, I've spoken to some members of the youth wing, and the argument that they make is that if somebody is wearing something that looks like a military uniform and is also putting on a civilian trouser, that simply distinguishes that person from a military person. And on that level, they don't think that any threat or any infringement of a law have been done. They are also saying that if you look at the restriction on the military uniforms law that was passed, the Act, it actually describes a military uniform to be a uniform that is being worn by the military in Ghana or abroad, or have been worn previously by a military in Ghana and a military outside the country. The point they are making is that the attire he was wearing is designed by True Religion. And they make the case that that particular attire, even though it looks like a military uniform, has actually never been worn by any military or whatsoever, either in Ghana or outside the country. And therefore, they don't think that the attire that Salam Mustafa was wearing on the day when he granted the interview at Kingston Radio in any way meets the interpretation of a military uniform as contained in the restrictions on the wearing of military uniform act.
Very well. Now, Afrikiko is closer to the police CID for persons or listeners in Accra. Have you spotted any security officer there looking at the fact that we have seen two vehicles which is carrying some members of the NPP?
Well, I've not seen any police officer particularly concerned about the gathering at Afrikiko. But what I've also noticed is that the youth wing themselves are trying as much as possible not to draw attention to Afrikiko. So even though the buses came to Afrikiko, the young men who are in these buses have dropped and have moved a bit further to the interchange where later Salam is expected to meet with them and walk to the CID headquarters with them.
Have you seen any known face in the NPP who is there to support Salam as he appears before the CID?
Well, his deputy youth organizer, Jehide, is here with him, as I indicated. A number of officers at the youth wing office are also here. Earlier, I saw the CEO of the YEA. He was here, but he has left. I got to speak with some members of the youth wing. They indicate to me that they are waiting for some of the lawyers of the party, and one of them is Frank Davis. And so, aside these persons, I'm yet to see any notable person of the NPP join Salam Mustafa here at Afrikiko. But the youth wing tells me that a number of party officials and known persons will later join as they go to the CID headquarters for any form of interrogation.
You are most grateful for your time, Hans and Ajuma. We'll come back to you when you have more from the police CID, where the national organizer of the NPP, Salam Mustafa, is expected to appear before it following a petition by some members of the NDC after he was seen wearing a military camouflage during a radio interview in Wa last month. This is still the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa here with Kweku Adriama, and still to come, we'll take you to the Eastern region where former President and NDC flag bearer hopeful John Mahama has chided the governing party for abandoning the Abetifi Government Hospital, which was started under his government. We take you live shortly. Please stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Listen up, people. There's good news for Airtel Tigo customers who haven't started and those who are yet to complete their SIM re-registration. Yes, good news. Complete your SIM re-registration and get free 5GB data falla to browse, chat, Zoom, TikTok, Snap, and do more on Airtel Tigo to change your world. If your SIM has been blocked, don't worry. You can have your number back and also get a whopping 5GB data as soon as you register with your Ghana card. Simply visit the nearest Airtel Tigo shop or agent today. Complete your SIM registration now. Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, the Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association says it is confident of receiving payment for its 9-month outstanding allowance by the end of April 2023. The group has in recent times threatened to embark on a demonstration to press home demands for payment of allowances while also submitting a petition to Parliament to intervene in the matter. Speaking to Citi News, President of the Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association, Jasper Joka, says the group is upbeat on payment of the arrears following assurances from the Health Minister on the floor of Parliament.
He gave the assurance to the House, that the Parliament, that latest by the end of this month, that's April, the end of April, our financial clearance shall come from the Ministry of Finance. And so he will do the necessary follow-up on the Ministry of Finance to release the financial clearance that is supposed to come before our payment processes can begin. And that he is sure that by the end of this month, that clearance would come. And that he has already written a letter to the Minister for Finance or the Ministry of Finance, and two of those letters has been served to the ministry, and that he is sure that we are almost at the end of the tunnel, and that by the end of this month, April, we will hear from them. That is a good news. And so we believe that the Parliament of Ghana is a house of record, and that the Minister for Health would not just say anything and then just like that. It's on record and he's recorded for that. And so we are patiently waiting that the ending of this month, we want to hear from the Ministry of Health as to the release of our financial clearance so that the processes can begin for us as soon as possible.
You heard the president of the Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association, Jasper Joka.
Now, the director of Africa Digital Economy Forum, Derek Lai, has blamed the wholesale implementation of a 2005 SMP policy for the increasing cost of data in Ghana. Data users in the country have lamented bitterly over the recent hikes in its data charges. The move follows the suspension of MTN's data zone, which was an innovative offer from MTN that gave customers a one-day validity bundle at discounted rates. The suspension in its compliance with the SMP policy, where the regulator must ensure MTN does not charge lower than its competitors. Derek Lai tells host of Citi Breakfast Show Bernard Avle that the decision is the bane of customers today.
We're literally paying for the price of inefficiency, and the price of inefficiency literally also tied down to the price of other telcos deciding not to invest. So in June 2020, there was a declaration that MTN was a significant market player. Now, per the National Communications Policy, this 2005 document, says that it takes, I think, one to hold 40% market share of voice, SMS, data, and mobile money to be considered to be a significant market player. But you see, at the time when the announcement or the declaration was made, there was a lot of general public excitement. People were excited that, MTN is too big, we have to claim their sizes. Like a lot of the political guys who were literally supporting the government in doing this, they kept saying that, yes, we have to hold MTN is becoming too big. But you see, one of my concerns was that you cannot, the 2005 policy and what literally dictates this particular clause was a very, very efficient and sound policy when it was created and written in 2005. But when you are now implementing such a clause after 15 years, considering the evolution of such a very, 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 very fast-moving space or environment like telecommunication or industry like telecommunication, you need to be super careful. So if you realize, before we go into it, if you realize we're in the third year of this announcement, what has happened to MTN? Nothing. What is actually happening is that the prices of services are going up simply because of the dictates of this policy. So you have a system where MTN is not supposed to charge lower or should not be the lowest, should not offer any service lower in the market compared to its competitors. So if I wake up in the morning and I'm MTN's competitor, willingly or unwillingly, I can just look at the way our bundles, because there's bundles in excess of 800. I can just look at any of them and say, this one that we compete with MTN on this particular bundle. Maybe MTN is offering it for maybe, okay, let's offer it for, ours is maybe 1.5. Let's offer it for 3 or 2.5. Then somebody will now pass behind or go and report to the regulator. Or the regulator might find out that on this particular bundle that they are all competing on, or this particular service offering that they all are competing on, MTN is providing it for 2.5 or 2, and then they are providing for 2. So MTN is currently the lowest. So MTN has to then take action. So they continuously have to be tweaking their service offerings. If you realize, they will not wake up in the morning and say, let's just take it down. Obviously, this is what has led to it being taken down. But even at the point when you are being told to take it down, there's also a clause about you will be fined if you continue to operate. So the telco also, in just being for regulatory compliance or general compliance issues, and literally because they are listed entities, they will want to be in alignment with the regulator. They'll definitely take a decision, and then they'll have to come back to the customers. And obviously, that is where we find ourselves right now. So for me, if you ask me about the SMP, I'll tell you, it was a great policy at the time when it was written. But at the time when it was being implemented, I think it was dead on arrival. And that's why 3 years down the line, this policy has literally done nothing to MTN, but actually has been a bane on the back of Ghanaians.
So you heard that the director of Africa Digital Economy Forum, Derek Lai, speaking.
Let's now take you to the Eastern region, where former President John Dramani Mahama has chided the ruling government for abandoning projects his administration began. Now, the NDC flag-bearer aspirant cited hospitals and schools that remain uncompleted by the Akufo-Addo administration. He made these remarks on the final day of his 3-day campaign tour of the Eastern region.
Any first-class hospital like
The NDC is not selective in developing the country. We don't decide that based on our stronghold. One thing that saddens me is the fact that the first-class hospital we were building at Abetifi has been abandoned and left uncompleted. I understand scrap dealers have taken over the project.
And that one scrap. And yet, your mama bottom sika and anami DC. Omani sika. And twasum kra say Ibeja Japadiesa Amanase. And so
it is unacceptable to abandon a project that was funded by taxpayers' money. Abandoning of projects is not peculiar to Kwewu. I know everything has an end. Ghanaians now want the NDC to come to their rescue.
Menim sɛ bibia wɔ na wie na nyame ahyira so Ghana for say NDC for yɛmɛgye yɛboɔ na yɛkae ɔmo ante na ɛsɛ futuo hɔ yi nsakra nipa agye sɛ nsɔhwɛ.
So you had the former President John Dramani Mahama. Let's go live to the Eastern region and speak to our correspondent Neil Ni Amate Kanako. Good afternoon to you, Neil. Thanks for your time. Where is the former president currently?
Thank you very much. The former president just landed.
Neil, can you please reposition yourself? The background noise is quite on the high.
Okay. So the former president just landed at the Nkoko constituency, where he's about addressing branch and then executives of the party here in the Nkoko constituency. Now, his first stop for today, for the wrapping of his 3-day tour of the meeting, began at the Praiso, where he met branch and then constituency executives of both Praiso and then Abasisi constituency. Now, the former president indicates that the decision by the New Patriotic Party to abandon the Abasisi of the modern hospital was started under the Sena is something that he cannot even wrap his mind around. According to him, the amount of money sunk into that project should be continued by the NPP when they took over the realms of power. Now, currently, he is at Nkoko, delegate and then branch executives. From there, we are going to move to the New constituency, where he also address delegates and branch executives before heading to Oda for him to meet delegates from Oda, and then after me, Akoto, in that particular area before he moved to Citi, and here there was Command Cafe, and finally end the tour of the other constituency.
Very well. Now, the Eastern Regional Chairman, Mark Kevo, made some comments in relation to the comments by the Agric Minister, Brian Champon, that the NPP will hold on to power with any means available. What did Mark Kevo say in regards to that?
So, Dr. Mark Kevo called the bluff of the NPP in that regard, indicating that the NPP and its leadership know that they've already lost power come 2024. Now, according to him, the amount of wealth and properties acquired by the NPP and its executives, they will not in any way put up for any violence. So according to him, he is optimistic that the NPP will literally hand over power if they lose the 2024 elections, because they are not going to put what their properties for it to be destroyed in the unlikely event of chaos in the country. So that was what Mark Kevo said, indicating that even though he's also from the Peru, he knows specifically that the NPP will not engage in any electoral violence, but would literally hand over power back to the National Democratic Congress.
Now, it's the final day. How has the reception been like in the last 3 days the former president has been in that region? And yesterday he commented that some NDC members were targeted by the NPP in its fight against illegal mining. How did that conversation come up? And were there small-scale miners who were at the meeting?
Thank you very much. So you made that statement where in the Etiwa East, this was, we all know that the Etiwa enclave, Etiwa East and West, that is where we have Kwame, we have mining towns, mining towns in that particular area. So majority of the people who came, majority of the branch executives came themselves miners. So it was to him the right way to address them. That was when he came with a comment indicating that he's perfectly aware that some NDC miners were targeted in the mining, in the illegal fight, stating that he's also aware that some NDC members who were arrested in the fight are currently serving various prison sentences in that regard. He also indicated that some excavators of NDC miners were seized in that process. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, people from the NPP side were seen using the same excavators which were seen from
Neil,
NDC
please
office.
reposition yourself. Please reposition yourself. We are getting some feedback.
Thank you very much. So he indicated that some excavators which were seized belonging to NBC miners were later on 2 or 3 weeks time being used by NPV miners in that regard. He indicated that when it comes back, it's going to ensure that all these discrepancies, are actually met, and that he assured them that when it comes back, he's going to solve all the issues regarding illegal mining and other issues in that particular power.
Now, finally, tell us about his final itinerary for his last day in the Eastern region.
So as we speak now, he's currently addressing delegates here in the constituency. From here, we'll move to the new Brim constituency where he meets delegates also branches. Then move to the IUD area where he settled to meet branch executives to tell us his ideas to them. We'll then move to Oda where they would combine the Atiasi, Akem Swedru, Afelemasu, and Oda constituency. They are all converging at the Akem Oda Mercedes Conference Center to be addressed by the former president in that regard. From there, we'll then move to the Atiasi area where they will also combine to meet the former president. We'll then move to Manchester where the former president will address branch executives, and then finally end this meeting tour of the region at the Adesso constituency.
Very well, most grateful to you, Neoni Kanaku, who is our Eastern Regional Correspondent, bringing us up to speed on the final day of former President John Mahama's campaign tour in the Eastern region. Kweko will bring us our next story from Kumasi.
Now, some residents in the Ashanti region have called on authorities to ensure work resumes on 3 abandoned projects as soon as possible. The projects include Phase 2 and 3 of the Kumasi International Airport, Phase 2 of the Kejitia Central Market Redevelopment Project, and the 500-bed capacity mother and baby unit at the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital. Some Citi News sources indicate that the Finance Ministry has since December 2022 not been releasing funds towards the construction of the projects, which has led to 2,000 workers being laid off. Our Ashanti Regional Correspondent Fatih Aminu Ibrahim has more.
The Kumasi International Airport Phase 2 in particular has on several occasions failed to meet its completion deadlines despite numerous assurances from authorities. This has left many residents disappointed. The disappointment has even worsened now that construction work on the project has halted due to lack of funds. The expansion of the Kumasi International Airport project include Phase 2 and Phase 3. Per the new deadlines, the Phase 2 of the project is expected to be completed by June 2023, while the Phase 3 is expected to be completed in the early part of 2024. It doesn't look likely that the contractors would be able to meet the completion deadlines since the projects are currently on hold. Another highly anticipated project in the Ashanti region is the Phase 2 of the Kejitia Central Market Redevelopment Project. Thousands of traders have been expectant of seeing its completion as early as possible, but it appears they will have to wait much longer. This is because work on that project has also halted since the Ministry of Finance has not been releasing funds towards its construction in recent months. So far, Citi News sources say the Phase 2 of the Kejitia Central Market Redevelopment Project is 65% complete and is expected to be fully completed in the first quarter of 2024. With respect to the mother and baby unit at the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital, for instance, many residents were excited when authorities assured of constructing a 500-bed capacity block. The previous structure, which was constructed by the Echampon regime in the 1970s but was abandoned by successive governments, had to be pulled down 45 years later to allow for the construction of the new one. The excitement on the faces of inhabitants in the region appears to be fading away since the construction of the new building has also been put on hold due to lack of funds. City News sources again indicate that the project is 40% complete and is also expected to be completed in the early parts of 2024. Many residents in Kumasi fear that, just like many other projects in the past, work could be abandoned on the three projects and have thus urged authorities to find a way of ensuring work resumes as early as possible.
I'm worried because it's become like a tradition in Ghana when one party starts something and if they leave power, it's not continued until they come back to power again. So that's the main problem with our political issues here. One will start and then the other wouldn't touch it. We've seen so many projects like that. We've seen the affordable housing and the rest of them. Yes, so this, I wouldn't be surprised if the same thing happens again. This particular government has just a year more, roughly a year or two, and close to 2 years before they leave power. And I don't believe they can finish this project before they leave. But I believe as Ghanaians, if we cultivate a habit of maintenance, of continuing projects, these things will not be happening. If you are giving us the excuse of IMF funding and all those at this time, that means you didn't do your planning very well, because obviously you should know how much the project should cost you. You should know how much you are putting into the project, and you should know where the money is coming from even before you start. You don't start, it's like you pick a car and then you say you're going to Accra, then you just take off without checking if your petrol will be enough, and you say, oh, don't worry, let's keep going, and you don't know. And along the way, you just abandon the car. I think that's what they are doing.
It's quite sometimes, excuse my words, a nuisance, because our roads, our hospitals, and sometimes when you go to the hospitals, especially our mothers with their children lying on the floor, is quite pathetic. Someone who has come to the hospital to see for health and going back, but sometimes you see them with the mosquito bites with their children. You've come to seek for help and then you are going back home with malaria and stuff. It's not good at all, so they should ensure everything has been done in time so that our mothers and their children will get where to sleep, and then the beds and everything will be in place, and our roads too. So government should do something about it and then make sure everything is in place.
My main concern will be the mother and baby unit that has been put on hold. There was a time that, as we have already mentioned, it was put on hold for about 45 years. It was demolished and then they've started it again, and they've made good progress with it. And I think it's an important project they are embarking on. So no matter what is going on in the economy, one way or the other, they are going to complete it.
The mayor of Kumasi, Samuel Pine, however, tells Citi News the projects have been put on hold because of government's ongoing debt restructuring as part of the IMF bailout the country is seeking.
I don't want to use the word stall because it's not stalled. It's been put on hold. Put on hold purposely because government is doing a restructuring of our debt profile. And most of these international contracts and all that fall into that category have been put on hold. It's not only the massive Central Market Phase 2, nor the maternity and children's block or the airport, but other projects across the country. And therefore, after completion of the exercise, work will resume. When you go on site, especially with the Phase 2 project, you find a skeletal staff doing steel works and all that. I discussed and I had conversation with the contractors, and they were looking at the yes, well, they can make do with the steel works. Once they're not doing concrete works, they don't see it prudent economically to keep on site masons and all that. They've not gotten to the stage of the electrical works, and therefore they cannot put on site electricians to pay them for no work. And therefore they put it on. So it's been a temporary thing, and I believe very soon, when everything is over, work will resume. And we're also looking at it that yes, there have period for the airport and the massive maternity and children's block will also be similar to what I'm talking about now.
for now, there's no clear timelines.
Definitely, we cannot give clear timelines until we're done with the process that the finance ministry and government is going through with the IMF and other partners.
Now, behind me is the Kumasi International Airport, which is one of the 3 major projects that have been put on hold in the Ashanti region. Residents fear that if government does not put efforts in place to complete these projects as early as possible, they will be added to the many projects that have been abandoned. For Citi News, Fatih Aminu Ibrahim, Kumasi.
And here in Accra, my name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa, here with Kweku Idriama and San. This is still the City Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are live from our studios in Adabraka, Accra, and all our affiliates across the country. Now, still ahead, we'll tell you how children of the King Jesus Charity Home at Bwedi in the Ashanti region benefited from 20,000 cedis in cash from the Citi Foundation as part of its annual Easter Orphan Project. Do stay with us for the details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Marrying the city's most beloved billionaire, she believed she had hit the jackpot and was on her way to live the soft life she always dreamt of. But that's when it gets darker.
And I'm not sure say your husband too go hope if you hear the final way I get for your dog.
I still have your underwear in my office drawer.
Watch Adipa as she navigates the glamorous and gloomy world of the rich and powerful in the all-new drama series, The Billionaire's Wife. The Billionaire's Wife, only on Showmax. Sign up at showmax.com.
Resurrect your love for shopping at the Kitio Victory Sale happening inside Kitio Mall. Get up to 30% off selected items from our wide variety of furniture and home accessories and leave feeling glorious. Explore our furniture universes and be spoiled for choice. There's a perfect item for your home on every corner. The sale runs till the 16th of April, so visit us on the Spintex Road and enjoy shopping at a discount this Easter.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, the King Jesus Charity Home at Bwedi in the Ashanti region has for the second consecutive time benefited from Citi FM and Citi TV's annual Easter Orphan Project. The orphanage was presented with a check of 20,000 cedis, assorted food items, stationeries, toiletries, among other items. Ashanti regional correspondent Fatih Aminu Ibrahim has more.
The Citi FM Foundation, as part of its objective of putting smiles on the faces of the underprivileged, made a cash donation of 20,000 Ghana cedis to the King Jesus Charity Home at Bwedi in the Ashanti region. The Citi FM and Citi TV's annual Easter Orphan Project, through the benevolence of its viewers and listeners, also donated assorted food items, educational materials, toiletries, and lunch packs to persons at the facility. It was all smiles when the management of the orphanage was presented with a check of 20,000 cedis and other items.
We are from Citi TV and Citi FM. Last year, we came here to present some items, and also we made a cash donation to you. Yeah. And it's a project that we've been embarking on. It's a project we call the Citi Orphan Project. It's been supported by the Citi FM Foundation. With our listeners and viewers, they come in to support, and then based on what is being given to us, we also do same, that will bring them to the various orphanages. And so that's why we're here today. And so there are various items we are bringing here, and food items that we have, toiletries, and a whole lot. And on top of that, there is a cash donation of 20,000 Ghana cedis to support your activities here. And so that's what we are bringing to you. And so we will present this to you as the director of this orphanage. Use it to support the orphanage, and if there's any other thing that you'd like us to know, you can also tell us, and if our audience, that they are in any position to help, we'll also come in and see what we can do. So this is what we have for you, and we hope that it will be able to support the persons over here.
The Citi family seized the opportunity to organize a party for the children. One of the products of King Jesus Charity Home, who couldn't hide his joy, Sally Fupita, explained how important such donations are to the running of the facility.
Since I came here, I was young, like I was a child, yeah, and I don't know where I came from. So it's Apostle Kofi Osofri who has been taking care of me, my nursery, KG, everything, and now I'm done with K University. Like I've completed university last year, and I'm doing my national service at Forestry Commission, and we are very grateful for what you have done for us, cause and. If you look at this item that you've brought to us, it will be so helpful to us. If we look at this item, for let's say, it's not anybody who can come here and give you this item. And if you have brought this item to us, dear, what we are saying is, may God bless you and God provide for you everything that you've lost around us. And wherever you get the money from, may the good Lord provide everything for you, and may He provide to you according to your heart desire, and the Citi FM and the Citi TV. And based on this item, it will last long for us. It will last long for us, and the money that you've used to support the items, because if we can we can cook rice and oil only, but based on the money we can buy tomatoes and the other rest, so that we can use it to support the food that we eat. And we are very grateful for what you've done for us, and may God bless you.
The administrator for the Citi FM and Citi TV office in Kumasi in the Ashanti region spoke to Citi News after the donation and expressed appreciation to viewers and listeners for making the project possible.
I think this is a very, good and great initiative of Citi FM and Citi TV. For me, I'm excited, coming around to see the kids happy. We are dancing, we are eating here and there. It takes a lot of effort to put together something like this. And what really, really excites me is we are not just doing it in Kumasi. We are doing it across board. So on behalf of Citi FM and Citi TV, we would like to say a very big thank you to all our donors, our sponsors, our listeners. Without you, we can't put up such a great initiative. We thank you, and we hope that next year, this time, we'll do it even bigger and much, much better. And one thing, it's been a while, like the way the kids are so excited, the dancing competition here and there. Sometimes we need to come around for them to also feel belonged. So for me, it's a very, very great initiative. Citi FM, Citi TV, we have done a wonderful job, and we hope that next year, God willing, we'll come back again. We'll do it much bigger and better.
The founder and director of the orphanage, Reverend Kofi Owusu-Afriye, has been expressing his excitement after receiving the donations.
Yes, in fact, we are very happy for your donation. We have received a lot of things, items like rice, oil, tea roll, soap, books, things that I cannot mention. You can see it from here. Yes, it's a lot of things, and we are very, very happy for that. It's going to help us, because at this moment of time, it's very hard for people to attend with this such of donation. So as the Citi TV and FM are doing, you are doing a very good job. We like it. Yes, we like it.
And have you been given any cash prize?
Yes, you've given a check of 20,000 Ghana cedis, which is a lot of money. You have done very well for us. We like it.
He also called on benevolent individuals and organizations for more support.
So if somebody needs to support us, any quantity of items you can bring it, okay, or any money that the person can get, he can bring it to you, so you bring it to us. Or he can come personally and look at the project and support.
Now, it's been an exciting moment for the children and management of King Jesus Charity Home, who are beneficiaries of Citi FM and Citi TV's Easter Orphan Project here in the Ashanti region. It is their hope that they will continue to receive such support. For the Citi FM and Citi TV's Easter Orphan Project, my name is Fatih Amin Ibrahim from Bwedi here in Ashanti region.
And here in Accra, my name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa here with Kweku Idiama Ansa. I would like to say a very big thank you to you, our cherished listeners and viewers, for making this year's Easter Orphan Project a success. Also, a big thank you to all our partners who supported us during our campaign to give out to the needy in the society. We are most grateful to you, and we do hope that you join us again next year when we come knocking at your doors to help us help the people who are less privileged. A very big thank you for supporting us. Now, this has been the City Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM Stories we brought you this hour. Ghana's Food and Drugs Authority approves malaria vaccine described by scientists as the game changer in dealing with numerous deaths associated with the disease. We also brought you a story where the FDA in the Ashanti region has confiscated unregistered herbal and orthodox medicinal products worth over 700,000 cedis during a swoop at Alaba in Kumasi. And you heard us speak to my colleague Hansen Ashiman from the police CID, where we understand the national youth organizer of the governing NPP, Salam Mustafa, is expected to appear before it following a petition by the NDC after he was seen wearing a military camouflage during a radio interview in Wa last month. We took you to the Eastern region where you had former President chiding the government for abandoning projects started by his administration, and we also brought you the latest on his campaign tour of the Eastern region. Now, the news has been live from our studios in Adabraka, Accra. It was also live on all our affiliates across the country. In the Western region, you heard us on Premier FM 100.5 in Takoradi, Beach FM 105.5 also in Takoradi. In the Bono region, you heard us on Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani, Ashanti region, Orange FM 107.9 in Kumasi. Volta region, we were live on Global FM 105.1 in Ho and Adanu FM 107.7 in Adakluwaya. Northern region, we were live on Diamond FM 93.7 in Tamale, Upper West, Westlink 88.1 in Laura, Upper East, we were live on Source FM 100.1 in Boko and Northeast region. We were live on Scarp FM 101.3 in Nakpandiri. Please log on to citynewsroom.com for more stories. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa, and I was here with
Kweku Ediamansa.
Many thanks for doing the listening. Do have a great afternoon. Michael Lobodu is up next with the afternoon's edition of City Business News. Do you have a great afternoon?
City News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0